how do we best promote disciplines such as art into minorities with difficult social backgrounds? That's a question that comes from a primary school teacher who teaches art, perhaps with a very diverse group of students. And he basically, like we all teachers, want to reach most of them. We don't want to leave no one behind.
Okay, I'm not an art teacher, but this is what I would do in that kind of situation. When we're talking about minorities, the very fact that we call them minorities already has a
tag,
something, right? And then it's hardly surprising, given the way that some of our societies work, and here I'm talking generally about Western Europe, that those so-called minorities may well have children with social backgrounds, social issues. But I think art is something that is so individual, and so I think there are different kinds of social issues here. If it's around the cultural and the multicultural, then I think we have to make our lessons absolutely multicultural, and that is around valuing the kind of art that would be associated with the language that that person might speak, the families where they come from, and so on, and looking at different kinds of art. And if it's around, say, the stratification of poverty and so on, which is another one, then I think it's always about enabling people to express themselves and valuing what they draw or write or what they appreciate. The other thing is that quite recently I've been working with some teachers, and they asked the pupils themselves what they wanted to, if they had to choose a topic, what would they most like to do? And they had a vote on it and so on. And it's a very diverse classroom. And in the end, they chose goths because they thought that goths and dressing up like goths might be quite interesting. And so what they did was they then started to look at Gothic architecture. I'm talking now about children. Just the very word architecture would probably send them up the wall, but no, it didn't. They were looking at Gothic architecture. They were looking at clothes. They were looking at literature, because of course there's quite a lot of literature. And they were so excited about this because they'd chosen that topic. They had ownership of it. And what's more, they wanted to do more. They wanted to find out more. They wanted to do their own research. They wanted, and so on. And it really, really got to them. And the reason why, and I've talked to the teacher and I talked to them about it, is they said they owned it. They owned it. So
it come from the curriculum, from something that is already thought and prepared by teachers. They actually owned it.
And in the end, they were having to do, this was in a French language lesson, and they were having to do descriptions. And normally in a language lesson, you'd say, oh, she's got long hair, he's got blue eyes, and that would be it. You've done your description. And immediately, obviously the Gothic makeup anyway made the colours very different, but also they then started to be able to look at what's in the foreground of that picture, what's in the background of the picture, and so on. And they started to describe things so much that they could go to the art gallery and do all this stuff. And they were creating a video and a little sound file of a walk around the gallery. So it's all of this kind of stuff that on a daily basis is just too much. But if you can start to get them involved in a project for starters, then the motivation tends to build up a little.